So our next venture for community awareness and prevention is to do like a community awareness panel. And we're looking at doing that in April and really having a lot of different treatment modalities represented, as well as families, how it affects families' education, families helping families. We're looking for maybe children and youth. We have a list, a tentative list already, hoping to get something here in, let's say, April, and probably by January, next meeting, we're gonna kind of short, maybe having flyers or something in place and really start on advertising. A big push, so in the spring, we can hopefully get the community out here to learn about some of the different changes in treatment, and also how our community's been affected, our kids especially will have to be behind.
I think that's wonderful, because the reality is actually with the coordination committee, I did a little bit of an educational discussion with them. There's a lot of things people just don't know. And the reality is, it's not the treatment, it's not what you do with the treatment, it's how you do the treatment. You know, it's like, and we talked about that, you gotta put in place the appropriate treatment interventions at every stage. It's not so much the medication or not the medication, it's who needs the medication, how do you do the assessment, why do they need it, and which treatment is going to work. You can't, the sad part of it is, guys, and it is the truth, no two people that Jesse's worked with, that I've worked with, that Kevin's worked with, Alyssa worked with, Ariane's worked with, no two are the same. There is no cookie cutter treatment that's going to work for people. It's just not going to happen. It's based on the severity of the disease, what's happened as a result of the disease, and what type of intervention is going to fit for the person. We know more and more about the brain chemistry and more about what the stages of addiction that we've ever known right now. We actually know what needs to be done based on history of usage and what have you. And no treatment is wrong, it's how you deliver the treatment. That's what I say. Then you got mistakes.
A lot of the things that we went after in the previous work that we've done, we've kind of accomplished a lot of that. We have consistent communication on overdoses to the SCA between first responders and Gene's office, a number of overdoses. We've got a lot of that now working. We're gathering the data, which is really good.
Yeah, it's better.
Obviously, anytime you're doing exchange of data, there's always going to be hiccups, but I think for the most part, we've been pretty successful in that. In educating the ED staff at Tyler, there's been progress made with Anne Marie on that. I still think more, each time we think we've done some work with Anne Marie and staff that she's identified, we meet someone new and we have some more education to do, which I think is a blessing. I mean, at least we're having conversations, which is a really good plan right now.
I think I'll say this, Jess, and this is just something for the treatment committee. I think we need, it's not a two-way street yet. I think we need to go in and ask Tyler what they need from us.
That's kind of actually what we talked about today was part of that.
Yeah, I don't know if we're doing enough of that, and if we're not, then we're not meeting their needs. We got to know where you guys have the hiccups. Where's the breakage? What happens? And
that's our goal.
Good.
So moving, obviously the MAT goal was still on the burner from previous, that won't die. We're going to continue to look for opportunities to increase access to medication-assisted treatment for Wyoming County residents in Wyoming County instead of having them leave. But we looked at creating 3 kind of new objectives to look at for the next calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was, it was brought up that people that are residing in Wyoming County Prison may not have access to some of the supportive services that they would typically have access to on the outside.
Right.
So what we're going to do is start by just kind of getting a consensus on what is being offered, is how many fellowship meetings, what type of fellowship meetings, and if there is a lack of, then reach out to our recovering community to see if they would provide some of the support in the jail to provide some of these services to these inmates. There's nothing better than when we have somebody who's going through reentry, they've already established some of that support, so when they come out, they can just fall right in line with the next meeting. So Alyssa's gonna work on kind of getting a list of what meetings are happening, when they're happening, so we can see how we can supplement that. The next one was something that was brought up to me, and I kind of mentioned it to the group, and I think it's important. The lack of family therapy in drug and alcohol treatment. Right now, we're treating those struggling with a substance use disorder, but oftentimes we're not really providing services to the family. So one of the things that we challenged our outpatient providers with in particular was to increase the number of family sessions that are taking place for their consumers. Because this, obviously, we recognize it as a family disease, but it's typically the person struggling with the SUD who's going for treatment. So we know that there's supportive programs like Al-Anon and things which are wonderful, and this isn't to replace or it's more to supplement. Because our goal is to keep families intact in Wyoming County, not to create further divide. And we know that individuals struggling with a substance use disorder can and will, through positive therapy and support, come back to being good fathers and husbands and neighbors and employees. So.
And there's none. Many family members feel this is not my problem, it's the alcoholic or the addict's problem.
Yeah.
I didn't do it, they did it. And you have to overcome that. And once they understand that it's a whole family disease, not just the individual that is in recovery, then nice things happen in the family. But when they're constantly saying it's not my problem, it's the other person's problem, and that's a mindset in this county, you know, I have seen over and over again that we have to somehow overcome. That, you know, it involves the whole family.
But as far as psychiatric, I know that we're starting to bridge that in their, you know, they're bringing another, Children's Service Center is bringing another psychiatrist up here into the county, which will be great. But I just noticed that every single one of our patients are dual diagnosis, and they're not coming labeled like that. So we're kind of getting this guy that needs all this stuff, and we're having a difficult time, you know, providing that, and then also ensuring that after discharge. Like, there's not enough focus on what caused the whole, like, it goes right with the family disease. Addiction is a family disease. It's also because of trauma. I mean, we're treating trauma and mental health, and that's honestly our main treatment, what we're doing.
It's very complicated
Yeah.
nowadays. Treatment is a very complicated thing. It used to be, well, this is the drug and alcohol. It never really was, but it was treated that way. This is a drug and alcohol issue, or this is a mental health issue.
It's both.
They're intertwined so badly. And a lot of that has to do with age of onset for usage and the fact they never learned coping skills. So now they got away from the chemicals, but they don't have the coping skills. They started so young, they never learned them. So the reality is, well, go out and do the right thing. Well, what is the right thing? They don't really know. Honestly, they'll be back.
My main goal for today is to try to establish a date for the recovery event for next year. And going into my 2020 calendar, I look for the third Saturday is 9/19. And if it's possible, you know, the coalition is agreeable, we'd like to at least establish the date, and then we can move on to, you know, by 1/20, we want to be able to try and start the preparation for it. We will have to be in contact with others to figure out, you know, where we want to have it. Do we want to continue to have it at the courthouse? Do we want to try and expand it? Because, you know, talking to Barb, we know that if we get out there earlier, we can get more vendors, we can, you know, have a bigger event. The courthouse really can't handle that. So do we want to try and move it,
Who knows? Yeah.
you know, to say like the middle school parking lot or something like that, where we would have more space to have a bigger event?
Are you talking about the community event that we?
We had in September.
Okay, can you